The sixth name of the holy names when listed in ascending order is ELoHIM. This name refers to the sphere of Gavuda, otherwise known as the planet that we call Mars. And I'll be reading from the book, The Gates of Light. Now I must initiate you to rules and principles so that whenever you find the Torah of ELoHIM, you may know to which side he turns. You have already been told that the great name that is called Yahweh, may he be blessed, is the source and the trunk of the tree which extends above, below, and to all sides. He dresses in the other holy names and the other cognomens, as we have told you, and he does so in accordance with each activity that he enacts in his world. Thus he is known by the name that is appointed to perform that activity. At times he is called Ehyeh, or Yah, Adonai, and Adonai Sabaoth, Elohim Sabaoth, El Kai, and Elohim Chayim, all in accordance with the new actions he brings into the world, for he will be dressed in the garments of the name that signifies his conduct. Behold, the name that is known as ELoHIM is the name that has been appointed for judgment. This appellation is encoded in the verse, "Judgment is for ELoHIM," in Deuteronomy 1:17. When he, may he be blessed, performs an activity from the realm of judgment, he is called ELoHIM. Now know and see that this realm is called the left side, and this side's cognomen is in the Torah is ELoHIM, for that side is the side of judgment. This name judges all who traverse the world with the appropriate judgments, whether they be positive or adverse, for life or for death. This name has several courts and fixed places, and each one completes its work and its judgments in truth and in faith, for everything is done justly. This is what is known as the heavenly court, for there it is determined whether the world's creatures will be judged for peace or the sword, for famine or for plenty, for life or for death. This is the name that is called ELoHIM, and all are judged in his court. Thus the sages said, just as a man makes a blessing for the good, so too he must bless the bad. Where do we have the source we require for this? The verse states, I will praise the word of Yahweh, and I will praise the word of ELoHIM, Psalm 56:111. I will praise the word of Yahweh, this refers to the good. I will praise the word of ELoHIM, this refers to the attribute of divine punishment. Now we can tell you that all has been judged in the court that is called ELoHIM. If the judgment is favorable, the appointed name will be Yahweh or El. If the judgment comes to punish, it is called ELoHIM. Guard this idea. You must contemplate the fact that whenever you find the name ELoHIM in the Torah, it represents the attribute that has come to judge the whole world. We have already told you how the heavenly Sanhedrin stands between the name Yahweh and the name ELoHIM, and how the attribute of mercy mixes with the attribute of judgment, so that the creatures of the world will not be annihilated at the time of their being judged. Thus, the heavenly Sanhedrin sits permanently on the left side between Yahweh and ELoHIM, and it faces to the left. Now we must tell you the great concepts upon which the world stands, and this is the essence of the creation story. We must tell you the ultimate reason why the name ELoHIM is mentioned throughout the creation story. This is the essence, for we know that all creatures of the upper and lower worlds were created through the line of judgment, of Din and Mishpat. There is no creature anywhere that did not complete the court procedures prior to its creation, and then afterward it was created from the attribute of justice. Thus it was decided that this creature, as it were, is fit to be this size, this height, with this shape of a limb, alive for this many days, and to have this life with this kind of sustenance. The attribute of Din will determine if this creature should be subservient to another specific creature, whether it be through enslavement or financial servitude. Thus it was determined throughout the creation story, and for every creature that the heavenly court would decide, its size, its body, its life, its sustenance, its status, and how it is governed. Each and every creature stood before the court that is called ELoHIM. They were warned, and they were duly informed. Know that the measure of your body will be thus, your limbs, your food, your life, your status, and who will govern you will be thus. Every creature answered, even with all that has been told, I remain joyful and optimistic. Thus the sages said. All of the creature's story was performed with their knowledge. All of the creation story was performed with their knowledge, with their height and with their nature. That is to say, with their knowledge, with their height, and with their nature. That is to say, with their knowledge, the knowledge of everything that would happen to them, with their height, with their knowing the measure of their bodies and the structure of their limbs, with their nature, that they desired everything that was dictated and that they wished to accept it upon themselves. The rationale of this great principle is that one does not oblige another in the other's absence. Therefore, they needed to say regarding creation that they were created with their knowledge, with their size, and with their nature. Now, no one can say, I was small, and it was as if I wasn't there, and you cannot oblige someone in their office. Therefore, they must say that they were created with their knowledge, their size, and their nature, and that there is nothing that is without their knowledge, their understanding of their height, or as they desired. After we have told you this great principle, we must return to tell you that this is the reason that the name Elohim is employed throughout the creation story, to remind you that all creatures were created with a straight line of din and forthrightness. There are no curves or deception, because you will find creatures are different from one another, some who are good looking, and some who are ugly. You may say that it is not just that this one is ugly while this one is beautiful. Who caused this one to be nice looking and that one to be ugly? Why, God saw to it that this one was beautiful and that one was ugly, or what the ugly one's sin was that caused this to be so. One should respond to him thus: know that God created all creatures with their compliance regarding their size and their desires. As for every creature who was created, know that God had each creature placed before him and said, know that you are this shape, with these limbs, with this status, and this government. If you want this, say so. If not, you will be as if you were not created. Each creature then responded, saying, I want this, and I am pleased with this great opportunity. This is the essence of what was said during the creation story. And Elohim saw everything that was created, and behold, it was good, miyad, very. This was interpreted thus: it was good refers to the good inclination. It was good, miyad, refers to death. So, because God created each one of the creation with a certain shape and with certain characteristics, no one can claim, I was not created justly, for the name Elohim is noted throughout the creation story, and this confirms that all creatures of the creation were judged straightforwardly and justly. This underscores the fact that all creatures were created with forthrightness and true justice, and thus from this just rule one creature may be larger than the other, one may be smaller than the other, one may be sustained with plenty, and the other meagerly, one may be large in stature and one small, one may fly and one may walk, one may jump on its hands and one on its legs, while one walks on land and one floats on the water, one is circular and one is square, one is long and one is short. If you may claim that the scripture says, in the beginning Elohim created, with the line of justice and with the scales of justice the creatures were created. Thus we say in one of our blessings, blessed are you, Yahweh, our God of the universe, who created us with din, meaning judgment, and made us live with din, and in the future will sustain us for eternal life and judgment. In this way, contemplate that all creatures mentioned in the creation story stood in line before the heavenly court, and were cautioned, as we have said, and they answered, good. Thus it is written, and Elohim saw all that he had done, and it was good. After we have told you this, you should believe that the heavenly court that is named Elohim has concluded and decided on each creature and the appropriateness for each of its limbs, so that it should not be assumed that these limbs should be any better than they are. This is the essence of, in the beginning Elohim created. It was intentionally Elohim, for all creatures in both the upper and lower worlds were created in accord with the line of din and mishpat, and no creature was cheated or humiliated. Thus the Torah proclaims, the rock, his deeds are perfect. Why does the verse continue with, for all his ways are mishpat, meaning just? It tells you that the world was created with mishpat. That is why the name that is mentioned in the creation story is Elohim, for what is written at the end of the creation story. And Elohim saw everything that was created, and behold, it was very good. Genesis 1:31. The sages interpreted this as meaning that even death is good, for the attribute din, judgment, is compelled from the side of absolute pure justice. Know that the Kabbalists who enter into the essence of the Torah's secrets say that the beginning of creation and the first issue of desire was drawn from the 32 pathways of wisdom, and they are the essence of the beginning of creation and are included under the rubric of the name ELoHIM. The book of formation begins with 32 wondrous pathways of wisdom that Yah engraved his world, because all the pathways were in line with judgment and true justice. You will find that the name ELoHIM corresponds to each of the 32 pathways of wisdom, because this is the essence of creation. You will find that only the name ELoHIM is employed throughout the creation story. So you will find the name ELoHIM mentioned in connection with the 32 wonders of wisdom. These are the names mentioned in the order of their appearance in the creation story. In the beginning, ELoHIM created, and the spirit of ELoHIM. 3. And ELoHIM said, "Let there be light." 4. And ELoHIM saw the light. 5. ELoHIM divided. 6. And ELoHIM called the light. 7. And ELoHIM said, "Let there be firmament." And 8. And ELoHIM made. 9. And ELoHIM called. 10. ELoHIM said, "Let the water settle." 11. ELoHIM called. 12. And ELoHIM saw that it was good. 13. ELoHIM said, "Let there be grass." 14. And ELoHIM saw that it was good. 15. And ELoHIM said, "Let there be." 16. And ELoHIM made 2. 17. And ELoHIM gave them. 18. And ELoHIM saw that it was good. 19. And ELoHIM said, "Let the waters bring forth swarms of creatures." 20. ELoHIM created. 21. And ELoHIM saw that it was good. 22. ELoHIM blessed them. 23. And ELoHIM said. 24. And ELoHIM made the beasts. 25. And ELoHIM saw that it was good. 26. And ELoHIM said. 27. And ELoHIM created. 28. And the image of ELoHIM he created. 29. ELoHIM he blessed them. 30. ELoHIM said to them. 31. And ELoHIM said to them, "Behold." In the 32nd path, and ELoHIM saw everything that he had done, and behold, it was very good. Now open your eyes and see how each of these 32 paths of wisdom is sealed with the name ELoHIM, to tell you that anything that was created in the beginning was created with the essence of each of these pathways, for all was created with true justice. The sages were referring to this idea when they interpreted the verse, "It is he who fashioned you and made you endure." Deuteronomy 32:6. They taught in Midrash Kohelet, he and his court decided upon the exact nature of each limb and then fashioned it thus. So all creatures, their characteristics and their sizes, their deeds and their natures, were all created from the line of din. Each one of them was judged by the heavenly Sanhedrin, which is known as ELoHIM, and they were judged with the straightforwardness of true justice. There is no pathway of the 32 which is not sealed with the name ELoHIM. King Solomon proclaimed that all of creation which was created through the name ELoHIM is fit to exist eternally. For all things were created equitably, with truth and with absolute justice. No creature requires any additional qualities, nor any fewer qualities than those which were decreed in the original creation. Thus Solomon said, "For all the deeds of ELoHIM will be eternal. One should not add or subtract from them." Ecclesiastes 3:14. If this is so, open your eyes and see, for the name that is known as ELoHIM is the name that is designated for justice and judgment, and he is the one who created everything with justice. He too brings all creatures to justice, for Solomon groans, "For all works of ELoHIM will be brought to justice on each hidden thing." Ecclesiastes 3:12. Thus you should contemplate the fact that the name Yahweh, may he be blessed, when he came to create the world with judgment and justice in the name of ELoHIM, included mercy, which is the name Yahweh, may he be blessed, so that the community may slowly move toward the justice of ELoHIM. For no creature can survive if he does not behave mercifully with them, because of the existence of the great Sanhedrin and their harsh judgment, which is known as ELoHIM. For this reason he had to include mercy. This is the essence of. These are the generations of the heavens and the earth on the day that Yahweh ELoHIM made the heavens and the earth. Genesis 2:4.